Hey there, and welcome to Cognition. If you love getting to the bottom of how your brain works, you are definitely in the right place, so you might want to subscribe. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something we've all felt, that crazy, powerful, almost magnetic pull of social media. We're going to get into the science of why your brain gets so hooked.
So let's just start with a question and be honest with yourself. You grab your phone thinking, I'll just take a quick look. And then boom, you look up and an entire hour has just vanished into thin air. How does that keep happening? It feels like some kind of weird time travel trick, but I promise you, it's not magic, it's just neuroscience.
You know the feeling I'm talking about, right? It's that current that just sweeps you away the second you open an app. It's more than just a mindless habit. It's this really deep-seated pull. And to really get what's going on, we have to look past the glowing screen and actually look inside our own brains.
Okay, so let's get under the hood. The main player in all of this is a part of your brain called the reward system. This isn't some new thing. It's ancient, it's powerful, and it's the same circuitry that has been guiding human behavior for thousands of years. The thing is, social media platforms have figured out how to flip its switches with, frankly, stunning precision.
Now, here's something really important, a huge misconception that a lot of us have. We always hear dopamine called the pleasure molecule, but that's not really accurate. It's much more of a motivation molecule. It's the chemical that whispers, hey, do that again, you might get something awesome. It's all about driving you to seek the reward, not the feeling of actually getting it.
And this is exactly how it traps us in this powerful, repeating cycle. It all starts with a trigger. You know, that little buzz in your pocket or a red notification bubble. That leads to the action. You grab your phone. But then comes the really critical part, anticipation. As you start to scroll, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, pushing you to keep looking, to keep seeking. And then, finally you find it. A funny meme, a new message, a like on your photo. And there you go. The loop is complete, and your brain just learned, let's do that again.
So if that dopamine loop is the engine that's running, what's the fuel? Well, for the answer, you can look to Las Vegas, of all places. Because when you get right down to it, our social media feeds are designed to work exactly like one of the most addictive machines ever built, the slot machine.
The comparison is kind of wild when you see it side by side. Think about a slot machine. You do the same thing over and over. Pull the lever for a totally unpredictable reward. You never, ever know when you're going to win. Now think about your social media feed. It's identical. The repetitive action is the scroll, and the reward, a great post, a message, a funny video, is completely random. Sometimes it's boring, but sometimes it's amazing. And that maybe, that uncertainty is what keeps you pulling the lever.
And this whole effect, this digital slot machine, actually has a scientific name. It's called intermittent variable rewards. And you need to remember this because it is the single most powerful way known to science to get a behavior to stick. When the reward is unpredictable, our dopamine system just goes into overdrive, telling us to keep seeking, keep scrolling, because maybe the next one will be the jackpot.
But it gets even deeper. This whole chemical slot machine mechanism is layered on top of one of our most fundamental human needs, the need for social approval. So this isn't just about brain chemistry anymore. We're talking about deep, primal psychology. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? For pretty much all of human history, being part of the tribe meant you survived. Being kicked out, well, that was a death sentence. So our brains literally evolved to be obsessed with our social standing. We are hardwired to look for signs that we belong, that we're accepted. And right here, this is where the whole thing clicks into place. Every single one of these things, likes, comments, shares, tags, your follower count, they're all just tiny little digital data points of social approval. They're the modern version of that validation our ancient brains are programmed to crave. Each like is a little ping that says, you're good, you're part of the group, you're seen. Okay, so after hearing all of that, you might feel a little down, like you're being manipulated. But that's not the point. The goal here is actually to empower you, because once you understand the trick, once you see the man behind the curtain, you're not just a passive user anymore. You can actually become a mindful, intentional one. So let's just recap the secret that you're now in on. First, you've got the dopamine loop, your brain's natural wiring to seek out rewards. Second, there's the slot machine effect, that unpredictable reward system that keeps you compulsively scrolling. And third, you know how all of it plugs directly into our ancient, hardwired need to belong. So that brings us to the final and most important question. Now that you know how the trick works, now that you see the science behind the design, what's one small change you think you could make in how you use these platforms?
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you come up with. Thanks for digging into this with us, and we'll see you in the next one.